Have you ever wondered why some of the most brilliant creative minds seem to operate in ways that make others scratch their heads? Picture this: Vincent Van Gogh cutting off his ear, Steve Jobs walking barefoot through Apple headquarters, or Maya Angelou renting a hotel room just to write with nothing but a Bible, thesaurus, and yellow legal pads. These aren't signs of dysfunction, they're clues to understanding how exceptional creativity actually works. Today, we're unmasking 10 social quirks that creative powerhouses share. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll realize that what society often labels as weird might actually be the secret sauce of genius. These behaviors aren't obstacles to overcome, they're features, not bugs, in the operating system of revolutionary thinking. But first, subscribe to our channel. Let's start with something that might make you feel less alone if you've ever been called antisocial. Creative minds have this fascinating relationship with solitude that goes way beyond just needing quiet time. While most people recharge through social interaction, exceptionally creative individuals often find their energy depleted by constant human contact. This isn't antisocial behavior, it's strategic energy management. Consider this: creativity requires a deep mental excavation. You're literally pulling ideas from the depths of your consciousness, connecting disparate concepts and building something entirely new. This process demands enormous cognitive resources. When you're constantly engaged in small talk about weekend plans or office politics, your brain doesn't have the bandwidth for those profound connections that lead to breakthrough moments. Research shows that creative individuals actually process social stimuli differently. Their brains are hyperactive in areas responsible for imagination and introspection, which means they're constantly receiving and processing internal signals. Add external social demands to this mix, and it becomes overwhelming fast. So when a creative person chooses to skip the office party to work on a project, they're not being rude, they're protecting their creative capacity. This leads us naturally to the second quirk, the infamous reputation for being unreliable or flaky. But here's what's really happening beneath the surface. Creative minds operate on what researchers call divergent thinking patterns. While most people follow linear thought processes, point A leads to point B leads to point C, creative individuals think in webs, spirals, and seemingly random connections. When a creative person says they'll meet you at 7 but shows up at 7:30 with paint under their fingernails and an excited story about a breakthrough they just had, they haven't forgotten about you. Their brain literally hijacked their attention because it made a connection too valuable to ignore. Time becomes fluid when you're in a creative flow state. Minutes feel like seconds and hours disappear entirely. The third quirk might surprise you: intense observation habits that can make others uncomfortable. Exceptionally creative people are natural anthropologists of human behavior. They notice micro-expressions, speech patterns, body language, and environmental details that others completely miss. This isn't creepy stalker behavior, it's data collection for their creative work. Writers observe conversations to understand authentic dialogue. Visual artists study how light falls across different faces throughout the day. Musicians listen to the rhythm of footsteps on various surfaces. This intense observation is how they build their vast internal libraries of human experience, which they later draw from to create authentic, resonant work. However, this level of attention to detail can make others feel like they're under a microscope. People might feel self-conscious around highly creative individuals without understanding why. The creative person isn't judging, they're simply gathering information about the world with the same intensity that a scientist studies specimens. Moving on to the fourth quirk, unconventional conversation patterns that can leave others feeling confused or excluded. Creative minds often communicate in metaphors, analogies, and abstract concepts because that's literally how they think. When a filmmaker describes their morning coffee as having the emotional weight of a Terrence Malick sunrise, they're not being pretentious, they're using the language that makes sense in their mental landscape. These conversation patterns also include sudden topic shifts that seem random, but actually follow the creative person's internal logic chains. They might jump from discussing their weekend plans to analyzing the psychological implications of urban architecture because their brain made a connection that isn't immediately obvious to others. The fifth social quirk involves their relationship with conventional social hierarchies and authority structures. Creative individuals often struggle with traditional power dynamics, not because they're rebellious for rebellion's sake, but because their minds naturally question systems and seek alternative approaches. This manifests in workplace settings where they might challenge established procedures not to cause trouble, but because they genuinely see better ways of doing things. Their brains are wired to look for novel solutions, which means they're constantly seeing inefficiencies and missed opportunities in existing systems. This tendency can create friction with managers or colleagues who interpret questioning as disrespect. But for the creative mind, asking "why do we do it this way?" is as natural as breathing. They're not attacking the system, they're trying to optimize it. The sixth quirk centers around their need for specific environmental conditions that might seem bizarre to others. Some creative individuals can only work in complete chaos, while others require pristine organization. Some need background noise, while others demand absolute silence. These aren't arbitrary preferences, they're neurological requirements for optimal creative function. The creative brain is highly sensitive to environmental stimuli, and these seemingly odd requirements are actually sophisticated self-regulation strategies. A writer who needs to work in coffee shops isn't being hipster-ish. They might require the specific type of ambient noise that drowns out their internal mental chatter without being distracting. Similarly, artists who work in cluttered studios aren't necessarily disorganized. The visual chaos might serve as inspiration, providing random juxtapositions that spark new ideas. Their environment becomes an extension of their creative process, carefully curated even when it appears random. The seventh social quirk involves their relationship with routine and spontaneity. While some highly creative people thrive on rigid schedules that protect their creative time, others need complete flexibility to follow their inspiration wherever it leads. Both approaches can confuse people who expect consistency in social and professional relationships. The routine-oriented creative person might seem obsessive about their schedule, declining social invitations that interfere with their creative practice. Meanwhile, the spontaneous creative might cancel plans last minute when inspiration strikes. Neither approach is selfish, they're both strategies for maximizing creative output. Our eighth quirk deals with emotional intensity and expression. Creative individuals often experience emotions more deeply and express them more openly than society typically accepts. This emotional range isn't instability, it's the raw material of their creative work. Great artists, writers, and innovators channel the full spectrum of human emotion into their work. To create authentic emotional experiences for their audience, they must first feel those emotions themselves. This means they might seem overly dramatic about situations that others handle with stoicism, or they might become deeply moved by beauty in ways that make others uncomfortable. The ninth social quirk involves their communication style during creative work periods. When deeply engaged in a creative project, these individuals might become monosyllabic, distracted, or seemingly rude in social interactions. They're not ignoring you out of arrogance. Their cognitive resources are fully devoted to the creative challenge at hand. Think of it like a computer running intensive software. When all the processing power is devoted to one task, other functions slow down or become temporarily unavailable. Social niceties require mental energy that's simply not accessible during peak creative periods. Finally, the 10th quirk involves their relationship with social validation and feedback. Exceptionally creative people often have a paradoxical relationship with approval. They desperately want their work to connect with others, yet they resist changing their vision to meet popular expectations. This creates a social dynamic where they might seem simultaneously needy for attention and dismissive of criticism. In reality, they're navigating the complex challenge of creating authentic work while existing in a world that often rewards conformity over innovation. Understanding these quirks transforms how we view creative individuals in our lives. That friend who cancels plans when inspiration strikes isn't selfish. They're responding to the unpredictable nature of creative insight. The colleague who asks uncomfortable questions isn't trying to cause problems. They're seeing possibilities that others miss. These social eccentricities aren't character flaws to be corrected. They're integral parts of how exceptionally creative minds operate. When we recognize and appreciate these differences, we create space for the kind of thinking that produces breakthrough innovations, moving art, and solutions to complex problems. So the next time you encounter someone displaying these quirks, remember, you might be witnessing the social signature of exceptional creativity. Instead of trying to change them, consider what you might learn from their unique perspective on the world. After all, it's often the people who think differently who change everything for the rest of us. If you got value from this video, like it and subscribe to our channel.